everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Happy New Year! I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. So for today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of reacting to a music video or a performance video, we're actually going to be creating a performance, so to speak. It'll all be hypothetical. But yeah, welcome to my new series, K-pop Reimagined. Or in the case of this episode, simply imagined, because we've never actually gotten a performance of the song, but more on that to come. So for this series, I'm going to be taking a song from a K-pop group and creating a performance based on what I would imagine it to be like. We'll cover all the basics like design and aesthetics, makeup and styling, choreography, blocking, the whole shebang, you know? So yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you are too. So let's dive in. So, for today's video, we're going to be creating a performance for the song Paradise by BTS. Now, if you're an ARMY, you know exactly why I chose this song. We have never, ever gotten a live performance of the song, even though we've been begging for it for years. Literally since I joined the fandom, people have been begging for a performance of this song. And now with all the members in the military, I doubt we'll be getting it anytime soon. So I'm taking it upon myself to give ARMYs the performance that we've always wanted, even though it's all imaginary and it might never actually happen. Although, hype, feel free to hit me up, you know? I got lots of ideas. This is what I spend most of my free time doing, so. But yeah, before we get started, I just wanted to say that every creative's vision and process is going to be different. I'm gonna be going through the kind of basics of the creative process, but that doesn't mean that this is the only way to do something like this. My goal with this series is simply to introduce you to what that creative process might look like based on what I've learned in my studies and in theater school. But yeah, so this should be fun. Let's do it. So before we get started, the first thing we have to do is identify the spine of the performance. Now, what is a spine, you may ask? The spine is basically a fancy way of saying the central idea or theme of the performance. Every other element of the performance is going to tie back to this idea in some way, shape, or form. And for this song, for Paradise, that central idea boils down to live life for yourself. And if you take a look at the lyrics, you can see why. You've got lyrics like, you don't need to run without knowing why. We deserve a life, whether it's big or small, you're just doing you. Stop running for nothing, my friend. Now stop this foolish race. Stop running for nothing, my friend. All the air you breathe out is already paradise. Basically, they're saying, once you stop living life for others and start living for yourself and start chasing after your own dreams, big or small, then you can truly live in paradise. Simply living for yourself is paradise. Now that we've got our spine, everything else from here on out should ideally tie back to this central idea. And with this song, it's not going to be that hard because the song itself has a few motifs in it that tie back to the central idea, and we can use those motifs to build the rest of this performance on. But yeah, so the next step is identifying what aesthetics we'll be working within. So this is where it can get really subjective because it's really about how you interpret the text of your performance and how it makes you feel. This is the place where ideas start to differ from creative to creative. So yeah, let's do it. So now we have to identify our aesthetics. And so in order to do that, you can do it a number of ways, but the way I like to do it is to identify what emotions or moods it brings up, any strong images that stand out to you, and any colors that come to mind when you're listening to the song. And these will all kind of help you establish these aesthetic parameters for you to work within. So for me, whenever I'm listening to the song, I get a really kind of hopeful, empowering, and assuring feeling. Like when you really take a look at what BTS is trying to achieve with this song, it's like they're saying they want you to be happy and they are encouraging you to live life the way you choose. So yeah, now we've established our mood, the kind of vibes that we get. Now let's move on to images. When looking at the lyrics, you've got three prominent motifs. You've got the race that you're running, dreams and nightmares that they talk about, and paradise. And so when you think about these, you want to think about what images come to mind. So for me, when I think of a race, an image that comes to mind is the sound of a gun going off to signal the start of the race. So in relation to the song, you can interpret that to mean once that gun goes off, you have to start running no matter what. Like you were forced to take part in this race, which ties back to that critique of society that makes us run this race in the first place. So yeah, you can see it as conformity to society's expectations about dreams and success and all of that stuff and how we live our lives. And for dreams and nightmares, biggest thing that comes to mind is the subconscious. Our subconscious is always trying to tell us things that might differ from society's expectations. And then for Paradise, which is what the song is named after, when I think of paradise, I think of nature. You know, I think of the Caribbean, you know, just a tranquil, natural paradise, somewhere where you can just exist. So yeah, nature really comes up to me. I think of like flowers and flora and fauna and all of these things, the beach, you know, all of these images come to mind for me. And for colors, I've got quite a few colors that I think of. Firstly, purple, because duh, BTS. But when I listen to this song, I've envisioned two different shades of purple. A very deep and rich purple and a very light pastel-y purple. And the important thing about color is that color has meaning. So each color has its own kind of interpretation. So for the dark purple is usually associated, at least historically, it's associated with wealth. And so in the beginning, my thinking is that this purple could signify that marathon that society expects us to take part in order to achieve wealth and success in its own eyes. And then this lighter purple, which is in contrast to this darker purple, could mean the opposite. Then when the rap line starts talking about dreams and nightmares and what it means to dream in the second verse, I think of the colors white, black, and gray. So in this context, these colors for me represent the spectrum of what dreams can be. So on the darker end of the spectrum, you've got your nightmares, the darkness, that kind of unknown. It's unknown to us what could be hiding in that darkness, and that's why it's a little scary. Then on the other side, you've got your lighter side, your happy dreams, your dreams where perhaps you're running in a field of wheat or something else that's traditionally not scary. And then in the middle, you've got your grays, which can really be anything in between. Like, say you're dreaming that you're at work, which to me sounds actually kind of terrible, but anyways. So the way in which these colors would be used in the performance context will really help to cement the idea that we are no longer in our physical reality, but more in a subconscious reality. And we're really taking a step back into our minds and into our psyches to reflect on what it is that we want personally. But yeah, that's kind of the general idea with these colors. And finally, the last colors that kind of come to mind are pastels. So for me, I'm thinking light blues, light greens, pinks, peaches, just these kind of really paradisey colors, because those are the colors that come to mind when I think of paradise. So basically what I've done here is I've separated each group of colors and attached them to one of those images that we had from before. And that really helps you to kind of break down the meaning of each color and what context you'll be using each color in. So now that we've established these aesthetic parameters that we want to work in, we can start to apply them to the more technical elements of the performance. So yeah, let's do it. So now that we've moved on to the design section of our creative process, I like to start with a mood board because it helps to put ideas into context and help you start to visualize some of the aesthetics that we've established. So here I have my mood board. You can't really see, but I've divided it into different sections like sets and prop, lighting, costume and styling, and makeup and hair and stuff. So let's break this mood board down. So for sets and props, I have three main ideas. The first being the broken racetrack or road, basically to tie back to that motif of the marathon and to kind of signify that the system we live in is broken. The second one is using practical fog and haze, mostly for the dream section because, you know, you want it to look a little bit ethereal. And the third one is flowers to kind of tie back to that motif of paradise. Now, when I listen to the song, something that comes up for me a lot is the phrase "stop and smell the roses," which is kind of where I got this idea from. If you're unfamiliar with the phrase, it means enjoy the life that you're living right now and really just live in the moment. Enjoy the paradise that you are in. So yeah, that was sets and props for lighting. If you've watched my channel, you know I have a little bit of an obsession with stage lighting. So personally, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do some really cool lighting effects for this one. I have some diagrams that I'd like to share with you. So to start, I wanted to have them all in these kind of like, I call them laser cages because I don't really know how to describe these lights, but it's similar to what Hobie's solo looked like for the MMA 2019 performance they did. But yeah, I want them to all kind of start in these laser cages to kind of signify that they're stuck in this mode of thinking or stuck in this race that they're being forced to run. And so this is what that would look like. Ta-da! And then for that dream section that we've been talking about, to match with the fogs, I thought we could do a little bit of backlighting. I thought it'd be really cool to have Yoongi just like rapping. Without being able to see his face, you can just see the outline of his body. Let me just show you what that looks like practically. Sorry for the random location switch, but I just had to show you. This is what the backlighting would look like. I mean, if we had better lights, it would look better, but there. Oh, look kind of godly in this light. So this is what it would look like. Looks kind of cool, right? You can't really see anything up here. You can only really see my silhouette. I mean, I don't have much of a silhouette right now. I'm wearing sweats. Probably should have worn black for this. What are you gonna do? But yeah, doesn't this look cool? Just imagine I'm Yoongi and I'm rapping. I'm not gonna do it here because that would be doing Yoongi a disservice. But yeah, I think it looks kind of cool. Very dreamlike now. Add some fog on top of this. Very dreamy, don't you think? Okay, let's get back to it. So yeah, the backlighting kind of creates these mysterious silhouettes. And plus, when you add the fog on top of that, again, this is what I imagine our dream sequence to look like. And lastly, at the very end of the performance, I thought we could have these pastel colored lights that we bring in, kind of like individual spotlights on each of the members. They could each be different colors or all be the same colors. And those would kind of mirror to a degree what we had in the beginning, but the change in color would signify that they have changed the way that they're thinking. They are no longer running this race because they have to. They're doing their own thing. They're in paradise, you know. We kind of want to show a change in the practical elements to signify that they've had a change of heart and they're passing on this message to the rest of us that we can live however we choose. And so practically it would look a little something like this. So this is what the spotlight would look like. Anyways, yeah, that's what that would look like. I think it looks pretty dope. Anyways, back to the video. Okay, so now for hair and makeup, I thought we could do like a really kind of soft makeup look, maybe a little bit of eyeshadow, a little bit of glitter, maybe some gems, some jewels, pearls, whatever. I personally think glitter makes a makeup look really dreamy, which works. And for hair, we want it pushed back to give a kind of windswept feel. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily dye any of their hairs. I think I'd like to keep them all dark, but that's just a personal preference. And for costumes, I thought we could have them in primarily white outfits with maybe some gray accents. But yeah, I think white would really be the way to go because we are working with a lot of colorful lights, and on the set we want it to be littered with colorful flowers, so that white kind of helps balance out the amount of color and really visually contrasts the rest of the colors on the stage. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. And now we've got all of that sorted out, we can talk about the choreography and blocking. So Originally for this section, I had planned to do a little preview of a choreography that I did myself, but then I remembered I'm not a choreographer and I'm not that great of a dancer either, so yeah. I thought I'd save myself the embarrassment and just tell you what I imagine this choreography would be like. So for me, I imagine this choreo would be a mix between the musicality and lyricality of Black Swan with the kind of energetic bounciness of DNA. And the reason for this is twofold. One, the lyrics are pretty deep, and for me personally, they're very impactful, and like I said, they bring up these emotions of hope and empowerment. And so I thought that the kind of lyricality and the musicality of the choreo that we got for Black Swan would really fit into this song as well, based on the message that it delivers. But then you listen to the backtrack and it's pretty like energetic and dancey a little bit. Kind of has this like happy energy, like it's trying to remind you like, hey, live your life for yourself, do what you want, like you're entitled to that. It's valid if you want to do that. And it's kind of like urging you to like join them in that kind of state of mind. And they do that with that kind of dancey, happy track that they have. And so I thought that the DNA choreo, its energy and bounciness, would also fit really well. And so I thought, if you can't have either or, just mix them both. I think it would create a pretty impactful and very dynamic choreography. So yeah, I could attempt to choreograph it myself, but I'm shy and I don't think I'm at that level where I'm ready to share that stuff with the internet yet. But I mean, if you ever want to see it, let me know in the comments and maybe one day I'll actually show you guys what I had in mind. But yeah, there you have it. Now we have a performance, at least the building blocks of a performance. From here, we can take these ideas and actually start to implement them and actually start to create designs and choreos and costumes and set up lights and, you know, get our performers ready, really just go to town. But like I said, this is all hypothetical. Who knows if we'll ever actually see a performance of this song. Still holding out hope though, because I love this song. And yeah, like I said, Hybe, hit me up, because I've got plenty more where that came from. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Peace. Well, that was the video, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and for staying until the very end. Honestly, I was a little bit nervous to film this one because I've had this idea for the series forever, basically since I started my channel. But I was always too afraid to kind of share these ideas with you, but I figured, why the hell not, you know? But yeah, I'd love to know what you thought of my ideas, if they aligned with what you had envisioned in your head, or if you had imagined something completely different. I'd really love to know, so please leave those down in the comments. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. And who knows, maybe one day when we actually get a live performance of this, we'll be able to compare notes on what we all had previously envisioned. But yeah, until then, that's it for me. So don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button because that helps me out a lot. And I will see you very soon with some more new content. Peace out. Marathon. Oh, that was actually kind of cool. I'm literally burning my corneas as we speak. My legs hurt from sitting crisscross applesauce this entire time. Oh my god. I need to stretch. I feel like such an old person.